what is up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing some test stands here for my Phantasm Spiral deck that I recently profiled. So this is definitely going to be a really peculiar deck because it is something that is kind of fallen off the radar for a very long time. A lot of people definitely might not even recognize this deck, so as a result you kind of have that advantage there, being the fact that most of your opponents won't actually know what you're even playing. So with that being said, this deck definitely has quite the amount of versatility and flexibility, allowing you to really just build it to your particular liking. It doesn't mean my particular build will necessarily fit for you, but it could also not fit for a lot of people. Like I said, the deck is so flexible to the point where every single Phantasm Spiral player will have a very different build, to be honest, just because of the amount of cards you could actually put into this deck. Your choice of trap cards could definitely vary, your choice of spell cards could vary as well. I've seen people who only play the field spell in their own spiral decks, and that is definitely going to be a bit weird, but it focuses so differently. I've seen other people focusing on the rank 8 engine, or at least spamming out your level 8s, allowing you to then go into your rank 8s. And likewise, I've seen some players focus more on the Dino engine as well, so there's definitely quite a lot of room to actually play around with. But with that being said, I want to show you guys the test stands here. We'll just go with going first because that is the main intention of at least this particular build, but it does add enough flexibility for you to go second as well, so we'll do that in a separate video. But before I get started, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like, share, comment, and consider subscribing as well. It really means a lot. Otherwise, let's begin. Alright, so as you can see here, your opening hand is actually not bad whatsoever. I mean, firstly you have you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh, and you have a disruption over here. I mean, you're essentially just locking out your opponent. It's just really fun here. Obviously, as you can see, you're going first, so the only thing you could really do is set the Solemn Warning, and you could technically also set down the Spiral Power as well. The unfortunate thing is that the Spiral Power can't necessarily do anything as long as you don't have a normal monster, but it's still fine. It doesn't really matter in that particular case because either way, you set this, your opponent is still going to be stopped just because you're stopping one of their summons, and you have two cards here that could easily just stop their effects. I mean, there's really nothing that your opponent can really do to get out of this. You have 3 disruptions and you didn't even do anything, but that's the simplicity of this deck, so I'm just going to move on and do the next test stand. Alright, so as you can see here, this is definitely a little bit better. Of course, we still have our Phantasm Spiral Dragon over here, which is not the card we want to draw into, but you know what, we could still definitely work our way out with this. So firstly, we're going to activate Terraforming. Don't worry, you have Called by the Grave, so your opponent won't negate you or won't be able to. So this essentially allows you to search out your field spell, and this is your most powerful card in the deck. Starting off with this can pretty much guarantee, well, I wouldn't say guarantee, but it puts you at a very high advantage here. So we're just going to activate that, and you don't even need to do anything else. You just sit there, leave it as is, and you're in good hands because you set down the Called by the Grave and you pass turn, and on your following turn, as soon as your opponent tries to do something, the Pacifies pretty much activate, summoning out you a token. So you get your normal summon token. As soon as the token is summoned out, you get to add one of your Phantasm Spiral cards. So in this particular case, you could either go for Spiral Power or you could go for your Spiral Battle, and these two cards are particularly powerful for the fact that they can activate from the hand, given that that's treated as Umi, and this is a normal monster on the board. So to have these here, either or, of course, would definitely be a great disruption. Your opponent's also prevented via a search with the Ash, and Called by the Grave will also get rid of whatever they have that they're trying to pull off as well. Definitely a fantastic start here, because essentially on your following turn, you could then equip the Spiral Wave to your own card, inflict some damage, or in this particular case, it protects it from battle, and after it battles, you essentially get to special summon out your Spiral Dragon. Don't special summon the one from your hand, summon the one from your deck, that way they keep the opponent guessing, but you essentially have here a really good start, and this is something that kind of brings back memories of me actually going up against some of my mates, because a lot of them actually got quite annoyed at the fact that I had so many disruptions with the most minimal amount of effort. You literally just draw into these cards and you could disrupt so many things on your opponent's board. It creates such a huge deal of problems, but essentially you're having close to about 3 to 4 disruptions on each opening hand, and on a really good opening hand you might even be able to get more than that. But with that being said, let's move on to the next. Alright, so here's another opening hand. Again, I'm really disappointed at the fact that we're drawing into this so easily. We're only playing 2 copies in the deck, so it is definitely very surprising, but oh well. I mean, we'll just activate the Pacifis, that's our start, that's pretty much it. Set your strike, which is already really powerful, and just pass turn. I mean, that's literally it to this deck. It's so simple, because the minute your opponent activates any kind of effect whatsoever, you summon out your monster, you get to search for either your Spiral Battle or your Spiral Power. Power can essentially weaken your opponent's monsters, but also negates their monsters as well, and Battle just essentially allows you to pop one of your opponent's cards. Ash here stops a search, and you even have a strike potentially to stop more effects or even a potential summon as well of a card. On your following turn, again, you have the Spiral Grip this time, boosting up your monster by 500, and if it destroys something by battle, summon out one of your Spiral Dragons, re-equip this, and then burn for another 1000 onto your opponent. This deck is just really insane. As you can see here, it's so simple. There's no effort whatsoever put into it, and you're basically just preventing your opponents from being able to do anything. And it's the simplicity of this deck that makes it so fun for the actual person playing the deck. You just get to stop so many things out there, and you don't have to do all these extensive combos, and yeah, it's just really fun. I think I have won locals with it before. Of course, that was much longer ago, but even so, I think you could definitely have a lot of fun out in locals now if you ever attempt to take this out, given you're not in lockdown, of course. Alright, so wow, this is definitely crazy. Again, really nice here, and although you guys might be thinking, well, drawing into the equip spell isn't necessarily the best thing. No, it isn't for your turn, your opening turn at least, but keep in mind that on your following turn, the equip spell is actually quite the lifesaver, so it actually does allow you to combo off and then bring out your Spiral Dragon a lot sooner. That's the whole purpose of the equip spells, and one of the reasons why we're playing 6 copies in a deck, because we want to draw into at least one of them during our opening hands so that we could actually have some kind of follow-up. That's the whole kind of ideal situation we want. We don't just want to have disruptions all on the board, because if you have a bunch of disruptions, sure, that's fine, but afterwards on your following turn, what are you going to be able to pull off? I mean, you can't really do anything on your following turn if you don't have at least one of the equip spells. So to have it, definitely fantastic. So I'm going to start off here with the terraforming and search out our Pacifis, wherever it is. Let's see, where is it? Over here. And again, as soon as you open up with this, you're in good hands. So over there, go for that. set your warning, set your strike, and you could even keep the spiral power in your hand if you want to as well. Pass your turn. On your opponent's turn, they're going to activate some kind of effect, unless your opponent does like an all set and pass, which is quite surprising if they did. It's pretty rare anyway. They're most likely going to activate at least one card. Pacifis activate, summoning out your token, and that's going to trigger off, allowing you to search for your other card. So you already have spiral power here, so you may as well just search for your spiral battle, and this will essentially allow you to pop one card from your opponent. You have the spiral power now, allowing you to negate something and weaken one of their monsters as well. And you could even do this during the battle phase. Keep that in mind. Do that during the battle phase and during the damage step as well. Definitely very powerful. But of course you also have here the strike, preventing something, and of course you have your warning as well, preventing another thing. So 2 potential summoning disruptions and 1 potential effect negation, 1 I guess attack decrease, and another card to also pop one of the opponent's cards as well. On your following turn, equip this to your own card, boosting up by 500 again, destroy something, and it's most likely weakened, or you could use it to weaken one of their monsters. Summon out your Spiral Dragon, equip this, well, equip your equip spell to the Spiral Dragon, burn 4000, and then attack again. It's just so good. I mean, this deck has great management of resources. It has such great ease in actually bringing out a plethora of disruptions, and ultimately it's just a really fun experience for the player of this deck. However, that was pretty much it for today's test hands going first. We're going to give a crack at it going second tomorrow. But with that being said, definitely let me know what you guys actually think about this. What kind of variation are you actually playing? I've seen so many different builds with this particular deck that it's quite rare to see my particular build being the same as anyone else's one. Some people are even playing the Umi engine, where they're actually playing in the Legendary Fisherman cards as well. But with that being said, I do thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.